Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on what time you're watching this next episode from me, Avomance, in the Life on Minecraft series. This series is dedicated to investigating all the different types of life that we have on this incredibly cubic game. And today, we are taking some risks by approaching an animal that is sometimes friendly, but sometimes really, really not. Today, we're looking at wolves. We have been walking through the forest to find ourselves some wolves. The reason we're in the forest is because this is where they will naturally spawn. They spawn in any type of forest, including the taiga forests, where they will spawn in all three of those different variants. However, they won't spawn in a flower forest. I guess the smell of the flowers just puts them off. In this wild form, they have 8 points of health. That is 4 hearts. However, they can be tamed, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. When you tame them, their health increases to 10 hearts. That's 20 health points. So it's actually a lot better for them if you tame them. Wolves were the first tameable Minecraft mod added in the beta in March 2011 for Java. In MCPE, they were added in June 2014 and in the Legacy console in May 2012. They're a very early, long-serving mob. Wolves have got a number of different sounds, and they are in alphabetical order: the bark, when it dies, when it growls. That's actually quite scary. When it gets hurt, when it is panting, when it shakes itself off, when it's whining. Now, a wolf is not a passive mob. It is a neutral mob, but it will become hostile if you get aggressive towards it. And you can do that by hitting it. You'll see there, it immediately gets red eyes and starts to attack you. But not only does it attack you, all its friends attack you as well. And it attacks you really hard. 2 to 3 hearts every single time. Wild wolves will attack a number of things, including rabbits, skeletons, sheep, foxes, although they do struggle a little bit with foxes because those critters are really quick. And also, really sadly, baby turtles. Which don't stand any chance whatsoever. An adult wolf has a hitbox of 0.85 blocks and a width of 0.6 blocks, meaning that it can fit through a 1-by-1 gap really easily, as demonstrated by the fact that it wants to eat that sheep. Baby wolves are half the size of a big wolf. Wild wolves can be tamed using bones, and they're actually fairly interested in you when you're holding a bone. Not so much as some of the domestic animals are when you're holding wheat, but they do like the look of you. And if you right click on them with a bone, you have a 1 in 3 chance of that bone taming them. In Java Edition, there is no limit to the number of wolves that you can tame. In Bedrock, you can tame up to 16, and the same is true in PS4. You'll notice that they immediately get a red collar and sit down on being tamed. You can dye that collar any colour you want just by right clicking on that wolf, and it will change the collar colour. Tamed wolves will attack anything that the player attacks or that attacks the player. For example, if I pop a zombie in there, that's going to be very interested in me. If that thing attacks me, it is going to become very unpopular with these wolves. You'll notice that despite the fact that I didn't hit that, I got the XP anyway. The same is true for other mobs too. If I pop that there, in fact the skeleton is more scared of the dogs than it is enthusiastic about attacking me. And as a result, I can just wander around here quite happily. And that skeleton, the poor fella, isn't going to stand much of a chance because these dogs are going to tear it to bony pieces. You can tell the health of a wolf by the angle of its tail. Old Yellow here, he's got a tail pointing quite nicely upwards, which implies it's got most, if not all, of its 20 health points that a tame wolf has. However, poor old Red here, that tail is pointing very, very down. That implies that it's got absolutely less than half of its maximum of 20 health points. Now, given that a wild wolf has a maximum of 8 health points, that's why their tails are always pointing down, because the downwards point implies less than 10 health points. You can heal these fellas up using any type of meat. All you need to do is right click on them with the meat, and that tail will just go upwards, and it'll also make them sit down and go into love mode if you click it enough times. You can make a tamed wolf stand up by right clicking on it and then sit down again by right clicking on it again. If a wolf is sitting down, then it won't follow you, except in certain circumstances, which we'll talk about in a moment. However, if it's standing up, it will follow you relatively randomly as long as it stays within about a 10 block radius. If you get further than 10 blocks away, it starts to get a little bit worried. And if you get a long way away, it will start to teleport towards you. Although sometimes, there you go, it doesn't get the chance because it's too quick. It runs at round about the speed of your walking pace. There are a number of other occasions that a wolf will not immediately teleport to you if you get further than 12 blocks away. One example of that is when it's chasing a skeleton. They get far more interested in the skeleton than they are in you, and until those skeletons are dead, it is not going to teleport to you. Eventually, once they kill them though, they'll come along quite happily because they've done their work. Just like that. Another time they won't teleport to you is when they're stuck in a boat or a minecart. They actually quite like getting into boats. They're very, very easy to do that. But once they're in the boat, they won't teleport to you at all. So if I run over here really fast, you can see their mates are coming. But those ones in the boat are standing quite still. They're unable to teleport to you if they are attached to a fence post on a lead. And again, I'll demonstrate this. They'd like to come. In fact, they get a little bit frustrated when they can't come. But only the little mate that hasn't got a lead attached to it is able to. Those dogs are going mad. They want to come to daddy. They also can't teleport to you if a 5x5 area around you doesn't have a solid block with a transparent block above it. For example, if you're flying or you've got elytra. They can't teleport to me now. Dogs, generally speaking, don't like to be wet. And what that means is if they walk through the ocean or swim in a river, or if it's raining and it stops raining, they will shake themselves off. I think that's brilliant. You can breed up wolves with any type of meat, and that includes rotten flesh. All you need to do is right click on the wolf and it goes into love mode. You saw its hearts there. It does also sit down. So to get them to breed, you need to have at least one of them standing up. Get that fella to stand up, get that fella to stand up, and they will produce a puppy. That little puppy is also yours and tame. You can see there it's very happy and it's got a little red collar on. If you have two dogs or wolves that are bred that belong to two different people, the puppy will belong to the owner that has the youngest wolf. You can also speed up the rate of growth of a baby by giving it food, and that will take 10% of the growth time off of that baby every time you feed it. So as far as pets go, wolves are extremely useful. You can use them as guard dogs. They definitely chase away skeletons. You can use them as protection dogs. If anything attacks you, they will attack it. That includes other players as well. If you're in a multiplayer server that allows PvP, take along a dog. They will rip that enemy apart. Particularly useful, I suspect, in a UHC. They've got great characters, and give them all a different colour, and then you know each one from each, and you can give them all a little name, which you can do with a name tag. If you have enjoyed this video, please do remember to slap that like button. It'd be great to know you're enjoying them, and I will keep on making them. Also, if you've not done it already, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye. There's a good doggy.